Hey, this is Mr. Barre, and this is a CAASPP homework assignment that deals with expressions 1. So these are a bunch of questions that you're probably going to see on a state test. So we're going to go over some of them. And it's going to help me check my answer key, and it's also going to let me know like how long this assignment is going to take. Let's see. So here's our first one. Enter the value for n for this equation. Well, I know that this is a base add, so n plus 6 has to equal 13. So that would be, what's that, 7? 7 plus 6 equals 13, so n would have to be 7 to make that work. How many times larger than 4 is 400? Well, I go big over small to make something like this work. So big over small, so that's 400 over 4, which is 100 times bigger. There it is. 100 times bigger. Now, the same thing applies when I'm doing it with exponents. So how many times larger? I go big, so 3 times 10 to the 7th over small, which is 3 times 10 to the 2nd. The 3's become a 1. They essentially cancel out. So I'm left with 10 to the 7th over 10 to the 2nd. How many 10s are on top? 7. How many are on the bottom? 2, which means I have 10 extra on the top. So this is 10 to the 5th, which 10 to the 5th is a 1 with 5 zeros behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 100,000. It's 100,000 times bigger. And you can't see what I'm writing. 100,000 times bigger. All right, zoom out. A line has a slope of 1/2 and passes through 0, 0. So slope of 1/2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Step 1, start at 0, 0. Move right 12 units. And then, from the location defined by completing step 2, how many units up is the line? So the line is right about there. It's 6 units up. Good. Next one, number 5. Find the error and state what the correct value should be. Happened right here. So how many, I do the subtraction, so I have 6 on top, 2 on the bottom, so it's 6 minus 2 over 1. The denominator looks good. And right here, this is 6 minus 2. Let me zoom in. Right, 6 minus 2 is 4, and I have it as 5. So the error is right here. And it should be 9 to the 4th. All right, hey, let's check the answers of this first page with my answer key. And see how I did. Oh my goodness. I just totally ripped the key. Okay, it's fine. The first one I have as n equals 7. The answer key says n equals 6. Okay, I'll have to fix that on my answer key. So the answer key is, how did I mess that up? N equals 7. How many times larger? I have it as 100 times larger. 100, that's good. 100,000 times larger. I've got my answer key there. That looks good. Number 4, 6 units up. My answer key looks good. Number 5, the error occurred going from step 2 to step 3. 6 minus 2 is 4, not 5. The answer should be 9 raised to the 4th power. That one looks good. So far, so good. We're about a third of the way done. And that took us 4 minutes. Okay. We're on to number 6. Create the equation in the form y equals mx. So this is y equals slope, because I know m is slope x. So I just need to find the slope of this line. And the slope of this line, it's got a, let's find a good point. Not a good point, not a good point, not a good, yes, good point, good point. Here it is. This has a rise of 4, 8, 12, 16, a run of 2. So my slope equals 16 over 2, which equals 8. So this is y equals 8x. There's our answer. Next one, select all the expressions that are equivalent to this guy. Equivalent means equal to. Let's see. I'm going to just solve it over here. Base add, that gives me 4 to the first to the negative 3, which gives me 4 to the negative 3, which gives me 1 over 4 to the third, which gives me 1 over 64. So I know those are all equivalent. And then I can also kind of do a distribution method. It's not distribution, but it looks like it. That would give me 4 to the 12th times 4 to the negative 15. If I kind of distribute, it's not distribution, but it looks like distribution. This becomes base add 4 to the negative 3, and then I'm right back there, 4 to the negative 3. So let's match it up. 4 to the negative 2, that doesn't show up anywhere. No good. 4 to the negative 3, that does show up, so that's equivalent. 1 over 4 to the third, that shows up, so that's equivalent. 4 to the 12th times 4 to the negative 15, that showed up right here, so that's equivalent. Let's check it with the answer key. Number 6, y equals 8x. That looks good. 7 says BCD, BCD. That looks good. My answer key is looking good. Number 8. The steps for showing an equation are shown. Go down and interpret the solution. So here's my solution. 9 equals 13. What does that mean? There is no solution since 9 equals 13 is false. I like that. That's the answer right there. And now, 8A, here is a little, a video surprise. Number 8, ready? You're going to write down the following title. Number 8, Tree Crazy. It's a book. So number 8, write down Tree Crazy. So if I ask you to watch the video, I know that you watched the video. Let's go on to number 9. Find a value for x that would make the equation true. Find a value for x that would make it false. All right, well, let's try 1 first. So 3 to the first over 9 to the first. That's 3 over 9, which is 1/3. Okay, that's false because I want it to be 1/9. So here's a false one. Okay, there's false. Let's see if the square makes it true. 3 to the square, 9 to the square equals 9 over 81, which equals 1/9. That made it true, 1/9. So there's my true and there's my false. The relationship between the number of hours that a person works and I'll have to fix that. The amount of money earned. D is proportional. Which equation could represent this? It's a slope-intercept. I'm looking for something that looks like y equals mx plus b right there. No. Y equals mx plus b. That's a linear proportional relationship. Oh, now we get to solve an equation. I'm excited. 11a. Let's see, right there. Half of 8x, so that's going to give me 4x minus 3 plus 2x equals 27. 4x plus 2x is 6x minus 3 equals 27. Adding 3 to both sides, 6x equals 30, dividing by 6, x equals 5. There we go. And I have another one. Let's combine some like terms. 5x, 3x, that becomes 5, 6, 7, 8x. So I have 8x, negative 4, negative 8 is negative 12, equals negative 28. Adding 12 to both sides, So that gives me 8x equals negative, what's that, 16? Dividing by 8, dividing by 8, x equals negative 2. So negative 2. Let's check it and see if it's correct. All right, 8a is A, that's good. 9, it says part A, x equals 2 is the only possible answer. And the second one, it can be any value except for 2. So I have that. Number 10 is A, 5, and negative 2. Okay, my answer key looks good. Oh, almost done. If one box can hold 24 apples, how many boxes would be needed to hold 480 apples? So if I do 480 divided by 24, I get 20 boxes. One box can hold 9 to the 4th. You picked 9 to the 7th. So this is 9 to the 7th over 9 to the 4th, which is going to be 9 to the 3rd, which is 729. Select all the equations that have infinite solutions. Well, let's see, I'm going to distribute right here. This gives me 13x plus 7 equals 12x plus 16. That has one solution, so that's not it. This is going to be 6x minus 42 plus 3 equals x minus 39 plus 6x. That's going to give me 6x here, and this would become a 7x, so that's not going to be infinite. That's going to be a one solution. Let's see, this is a 3x minus a 6. 3x minus 6 when I simplify. This is going to be x plus 2x minus 6. That's going to be 3x minus 6 equals 3x minus 6. That's infinite right here. And this one, some distribution. 6x minus 15 plus 4 equals negative 21 plus 28x. 6x, 28x, that's going to have one solution. So this is the only one that has infinite. 800 people went to the movies. 64,000 people went to Disneyland. How many times more people went to Disneyland? So I'm going to go 64,000 divided by 800. I can cancel out some zeros. Cancel, 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 cancel. So 640 divided by 8, which I think that's going to be 80. I'll check it with my answer key. And then our final one, country A has that many, country B has that many people. How many times more live in country B? So I've got 12 times 10 to the 9th over 4 times 10 to the 3rd. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 10 to the 9th over 10 to the 3rd is 10 to the 6th. So this is going to be 3 times 1 with 6 zeros. My lights just went off. 1, 2, 3. You can't see what's going on. Let me get my lights back on. Where was I? So, was that 6 zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 3 times a million. So I've got 3 million. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 million more people living. 3 million times more people live in country B. Let's check the answers. So 13 is 20 boxes. 14 is 729. 15 is B and C. B and C? It is B and C. Look at that. That's because this would have been a 5. So that would give me 6x and 6x. This would be negative 39 and 39. So B and C. Good, my answer key caught that one. Number 16 is 80. And 17 is 3 million. That looks good. Thank you for watching. Remember what the little video surprise was and write it down.